Somehow saw that monster get smarter and quicker.
Listen, this monster, he's probably been homeless for most of his life. If you think about it, ultimately, he's always been homeless because he's always on the run. So
changing places over and over again.
Has he really ever had a home? If you think about it on that level, you know.
The better question is, has he ever had friends that take care of him?
I don't know. For all we know, all of his friends could be agents.
One of him. Maybe something like he turns other people to be like him.
Maybe he has some kind of mind control against civilians that they take him in, you know, and
into their friendship circle.
Yeah, and then he like crashes at their houses, or you know, just kind of lives there during the day and just kind of wanders around the streets at night. Who knows?
God, what a monster! We need to find this guy. You and I.
Yes.
I feel like I'm really close in this case.
I think
if we put our shit together, we could finally capture this fuck and put him where he deserves to be.
I know he was talking about he was out in California. He wanted to go to California. We had a wire.
Okay, on my track, I don't see why he would actually enjoy that place. All the papers and all the things I saw. I'm just saying, it seemed like he would enjoy that place more than anything if he had
because
anything else.
He always talked about it.
If he couldn't make it to Hawaii, he would like to die there and maybe bring friends there. But I could not figure out why would he want other people he just met in Wisconsin to come with him there. So that doesn't seem like a plausible correlation.
Well, there was a correlation one time. We had an undercover go to the bar he was at downtown in Green Bay, and he had a wire on it, and we overheard this guy talking about how women in California were way hotter than...
Oh my God, I saw something like that. He wrote that like over and over in like a certain part of his journal. Like,
yes,
it was like women in Wisconsin looked like men or something, and that's why he never fucked any of them, and his friends made fun of him for it. And I was like,
yeah, I heard about that.
I mean, like, I put my dick in anything. I'm a cop. I would put my dick in anything.
Me too, man.
Put my dick in some chick I pushed down the stairs.
I'm not gonna lie. I went to Wisconsin once, and I was drunk, and this girl was drunk. She probably was about 236 pounds. And I accidentally, my wiener accidentally slipped in. Because, like, I fell down a little bit. Like, I was drunk, and I kind of slipped on the couch. And, like, my wiener just ended up inside of her. It was crazy how it happened, but we had a lot.
Why all your fucking facial hair shaved off, and, like, you barely have anything on your face or head? He shaved off your beard down to the fucking... That's what your Facebook thingy looks like. Officer, I'm just going off of what you're
Let's see. Yeah, well, you know, I got married recently, so the wife told me she liked it better clean shaved.
No, I'm not saying it's bad, dude. I'm just saying. Messenger thing. You look like no offense, but you look like what's it called? One of those New York terrorists.
Well, you know, they could argue that some cops are terrorists.
A New York Terrier. You look like a New York Terrier. Well, I'm sure you're still getting fucking laid, so fuck you.
Are we breaking character now, or?
No, of course not, officer.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm just simulating you for your police profile.
Well, you know, I got to keep the goatee shaved. The wife likes
for
it.
Undercover.
Right. For instance, in my last, a little excursion, I don't know if I want to call it that, but my last experience, I guess, being out at the bar undercover,
how'd that go?
And running into this character that we're discussing. He took his shirt off. After a game of pool, he was drinking a whiskey on the rocks. And
that could not have happened. I do not read that in my files. That does not sound correlating in any way what that person would have done.
How did they not get my? I thought I submitted a note to that. I thought it would have been added to the files.
Okay, you have to tell me that story of that person because I do not see any of that here. I'm looking through all three.
I was dispatched at about approximately, I think it was sometime in the afternoon. I don't know the exact time. But
the sun was still out?
The sun was still out. And I was like, really? I got to deal with this. I was like, really? I got to deal with this guy already? So it's about, I want to guess, 2 in the afternoon. I get dispatched out to this little dive bar. And I walked in, I ordered a Coors Light, and I sat down at the bar. And I looked over, I saw the suspect playing pool.
This is not a true story, you're full of shit.
He was playing pool with a couple of his friends. One of them looked like almost someone I'd have on the force with me. The other guy looked like a little stoner hippie guy. And they were playing pool and they were getting very belligerent. They were all drinking a dark liquor just in the glass. And
I suspect it was whiskey.
I was thinking it was bourbon or whiskey, something like that. And I went over, I kind of just moved closer and pretended like I was putting a song on the jukebox. And I proceeded to hear some noise behind me to my back left. Now, this guy at this point was yelling and being very boisterous.
Fuck you. This is happening. I swear, if you're doing a good story, this is good.
No, this is a real story. This is a real story. So, somehow he attracted the attention of a female. She was grabbing onto him, and as I proceeded to just sip on my Coors Light, just try to understand the drunk culture, this man proceeded to take his shirt off and start dancing. And the female still seemed very interested in him. So this guy is definitely a monster. That's all I got to say.
He knows the psychology of women how to manipulate them.
Well, you got to examine the female actions, the psychology, and then you will understand this man. He was attracting females. He had 2 wingmen. Maybe they, I don't know. They must have been having a good day. And I think he didn't even get kicked out. They eventually just left. All 3 of them.
And the maniac acted, and he actually had sex with all 3 of them. Afterwards, there was vaginal, anal secretions found in all 3 of them, and the monster still continues.
Wow, I did not read up on the ending of that, but I just remember the beginning part. It sounded like this man was
perpetrator.
Definitely, the perpetrator was inebriated and having a good time. Out there in Green Bay, and then he proceeded to rip up a $100 bill and throw it on the sidewalk.
And he made people pick it up.
And
what a monster.
He said, quote, "Pick it up off the floor, you dog." End quote.
No. In my reports, he never did such thing because, wait, what am I saying here? He said, and I quote, "You dogs." Like, he said it was more of like an euphemism. Like, you are dogs that actually believe it was $100.
Okay.
This is what. See, in his psychology report, it was, I bought $1,000 of fake hundreds, and people actually believed I did that, to the point that he went to, what was that bar? Old School? Old School had all
Yes, it was called Old School.
That was my bar around the corner, right? Old School?
Either that or Traditional Elementary.
No, it was Old School.
Okay.
And actually, there was one time I read in this perpetrator report that there was like this one hillbilly guy that did not like him very much.
Okay.
Because he actually did come in one day after a really good night. I read this. And he did actually bet the owner of Old School $100, drunk as fuck.
Really?
Like $100, and he lost against the 100, and then he laughed about it. And then the next day or whatever, he went in there and was hanging out. And another hillbilly guy is like, you remember when you actually did bet the owner $100 and you lost? And he was trying to make a thing about this. I'm reading this right here in the report, and he's like,
yes.
And he was like angry about it, like, yeah, but he was like happy angry, like, yeah, you remember when you lost an actual $100 against him? And he went, yeah, well, I guess I did. I mean, fuck, I make a lot of money. Anyways, here's another $20. Let's do something else.
Yes, I read that. I read that in the report. He was very gregarious and very nonchalant,
I actually did. That fucking criminal actually did do that, and it pissed that guy even off even more. They didn't care that he lost $100. He's like, okay, fuck, I make a lot of money.
Right, and there were times where he. And
apparently the criminal didn't remember whatsoever, and he just laughed about it.
Yeah. Yes. He was very what's the word? He didn't he didn't care about money really. He would throw cash around. It didn't matter.
And he would also share his wealth. I could have swore I saw that also in the docket. He would share his wealth very graciously.
He would share his cash money. He would work restaurant jobs, and he would basically
also, it says right there, did he actually really work? It says right there.
Well,
he said that little comment. I see this little comment circled like 4 times, and it said, did I actually work?
There might be a Bitcoin transfer at one point. I think he is.
Believe in that. He believed in his own. It says right here, he believed in his own skill, his own ability to trick people, to upsell. And,
Well, there might be an underlying. There might be another transfer of money that was not known. Maybe he made it seem like he was just working for cash, but he had he was being wired from other places. Maybe this how he
in contact.
Right. So maybe
he sold coke as well. We have him on that.
We there's a lot of different ways we're thinking he could have, been making some illegal money, maybe on Silk Road.
Because there's no way he could literally be having fake bills and at the same time paying for all those drinks at the same time. There's no way that man can make that much money.
Right. There's no way. He was working at
a fucking restaurant.
He was working at just restaurants. We're thinking that, it wasn't all cash. We're thinking that was a front for his deeper business that he's got online.
No. It was this. He had this one contact. We don't know his name, but somehow he was getting medical supplies.
Okay.
From this one man who was working at the hospitals, and he was able to get these medical supplies and fence them through a third subsidiary. And he seemed like a naive young man, someone who was like somehow working his way through the medical business. Mm-hmm. But he was a strong counterpart in this.
Right. And I heard about this.
That man disappeared.
Is this page 84? Page 84, article B? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember reading this.
He disappeared, that man. That's why that man has never called him again.
Right. There was something going on.
Business went bad, and we think his name was something along the lines of, like, Beth or something. Or we never got a clear contact because they kept it really secret.
They identified as non-binary.
He was very attractive, but just never took, how do you say this correctly? He was very attractive. He could make an opening, but he could never seal a deal. And something about him being in the shadow of his older brother, or we could never get the personnel psyche profile on him. We were this close, but we're pretty sure this was the man and they had a fallout after something like, hold on, let me look through this. Something about a rock or a beer bottle to a bicycle or a...
I heard about this.
No. We could not get...
They said it was like
he did do it.
A Budweiser bottle. Yeah, Budweiser.
That's okay. This is what I'm looking at right now. Yeah.
Budweiser.
And somehow that led to a fallout, and then he had to kill both of those people, and that's why we never heard of him again.
Something like that, yeah.
On our end, we couldn't find anything.
I haven't read that whole section yet, but what I do remember, what I recall from my my research is that he threw a Budweiser glass beer bottle out of...
Was it intentional or was it not intentional?
Well, that's up for debate. Some are saying that he said he did it on purpose, and then some people would say it was an accident, but, I guess only he will know. But, it caused a big fallout with the older brother, and then I heard, like, one of his friends later on didn't go to that older brother's bachelor party, and that guy and the older brother never talked to him either ever again. So apparently the older brother he holds grudges.
Even though if it was true or not.
We don't know. We don't know for sure. There's a lot of conspiracies.
But if it was intentional, it was intentional. But what if it was literally not intentional and somehow was ironically not intentional? That would make the story more interesting.
Well, if you think about
it, was literally not intentional.
If you think about it, it could be intentional, but like also if you think about it on the other way, like it could be non-intentional, but it could be intentional. So, but like you could,
because we don't know what he would be thinking in that.
We don't know
that time because he is a wildcat. I'll give him these.
And he was.
I knows what he's thinking in those moments.
I believe he had a few beers before that, so. Sometimes when people get inebriated, they do things they don't
intentionally mean to do.
Right. It could, like in their mind, it's an accident, but maybe they thought it would be kind of funny or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but what if the person at this point thinks that? I'm just saying, if a witness were to say to me that he remembers not intentional because they only break bottles on the sidewalk, they don't fucking make noise behind them, so shit could hey, bring attention of police officers. But then again, yeah, you're right.
I guess you might. I guess we would have to interview the victim or so-called victim, or he made himself to be the victim. Would you say, or maybe there was a let's say
of it breaking on the ground behind the car. And the shatter ricochet came up, and he thought it was towards him, but it wasn't a full bottle. It was just a ricochet of a bottle, maybe like a half a bottle.
Yeah. Well, I just think we would. Well, this guy probably doesn't even want to talk to anyone about it. He's probably. I haven't read the chapter on him yet, but I think he's actually married now, so. I don't think he has much time for this.
Well, of course he got married.
Yeah. I heard he's a stepdad. And not to make fun of it, because I don't know this guy, but apparently he ghosted one of his friends because that friend couldn't make it to his bachelor party.
He probably had a good reason. I imagine. I mean, if I were to the files, I'd imagine he had a good reason. No, I just walked past my neighbors and, like, the girl was, like, California fucking 11.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty much the best you can get. That's saying
a lot.
11 out of 10. I mean, that's legendary.
It's fucking, like, for a while there, I dreamt about her. It was fucking... Yeah, I'm breaking character.
Would you say it's subjective, or is there a definite scale on like the rating system?
Compare her to any woman I saw out there with that filthy hell I had to live with you. Oh yeah, she's a fucking California 11.
Yeah, those days when we were on patrol in Green Bay.
It was awful.
terrible.
Oh, yeah, Josh, if you don't want to fucking these girls, don't think you're a fag or anything. You can tell us if you're a fag. I'm like, guys, the women that you put your dick in, yeah. And so I see when I'm willing to put my dick in, and I actually try to talk to them, and oh my God.
Well, you can't say that because you had sloppy seconds with that girl that I pushed down the stairs.
I pushed her down the fucking stairs because I was being a psychotic.
Well.
No, I didn't push her down the stairs. And then again, you can never prove it, so.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know, I'm a filthy drunk. I got no excuse.
I'll never forget the day you came to my, you just showed up at my front door and you're like, dude, I woke up and I was in a car and there was cum all over my face.
And that's the story?
And then you were planning on calling into work and then you had to ride a children's bike, like, a long ways.
I stole a children's bike, yeah.
Well, I gave it to you. I'm the one that stole it originally.
Well, I mean, it was stolen, so, I mean, I technically took stolen property, so, I mean, it's still on the same page. But, yeah, I rode a children's bike all the way to work.
Yeah.
And I completed that day's shift, and
let's just paint the picture a little bit here. I'm, like, what, 5'6", with shoes on? And I had a hard time riding that little bike. Imagine a guy that's like 6'1"?
6'1" in the snow.
Yeah. Imagine Josh with his lanky ass riding that children's bike with like a half flat tire in the front.
Yeah.
And it's got no seat. It's just got like a little thing you can sit on. It's like not even a seat.
I made it to work and I made it back, bitch. That's how committed I am.
Well, you had the marijuana pen, so that probably helped.
Fuck yeah, you think I probably killed that thing the entire way.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way you made it.
Okay.
I can't even imagine.
This is this is literally what I want to get down to, the nuts and middle. Me hanging with my brother, and sometimes, I try to keep myself moderate, but sometimes I go a little past my limit, and I get, like how we used to hang out. Mm-hmm. And I would get excited, and I'd get loud, and I would get loud about some basic thing, like...
Well, you're having a good time? Well, you say you're having a good time?
Fuck you, for one.
Okay.
Yes. And so as soon as I'm having a good time, my brother goes, man, why do you have to get so loud? No one likes that. I can't imagine anyone hanging out with you like that. And I'm like, yes, you're right. I apologize. I have to catch myself.
It's a learning curve.
Back from happiness and be... And the fact that what I have to say to him, I was like, yes, my brother, Junior, I've known you longer than anyone else in my life. I wish all of my friends in my life, of all the jobs I've ever had, would hang out with you. It would be some massive party. And it would be me getting loud and excited, and all of them getting loud and excited with me, and you being like, Josh, calm down. No one wants to see you act like this. And then everyone goes, no, we like it when he gets loud and excited.
Imagine if everyone around me, you were the only one in the crowd without my energy. You would be the lamest person ever.
Why do you think I try to match your energy?
Like, I mean, if someone has good energy and they're not like being violent or being like extremely disrespectful, you should go along with that energy. Maybe you can get up a couple levels. Like, I'm not saying
he didn't die. Fuck this guy. This guy's really awful. Trust me. But so he did die, and he's coming back. He's better now, and now he's even willing to go outside and talk to people and try to get laid. And
well, good for him.
Yeah, someone tried to kill him. What? I mean, what? Maybe it's an entire lie. Maybe I'm not telling you the truth whatsoever.
We'll never know.
I got close. Anyway, yeah, he survived. And he's back. He's close. But trust me, I mean, the guy's a cunt. But yeah, no, he's back, and now he gets annoyed. And I'm not seeing any signs whatsoever, and I can have fun.
All right, bud. Well, you know, and I think it was because I was just wearing Pumas. If I was wearing Nike or Jordan soccer cleats, I probably would have gotten away with a lot more. I probably would have got at least 20 goals that game, and the whole team would be on the bench. They'd be like, all right, Alex versus nobody. And then, because like everyone else got tired because I was running around so fast. And I went Super Saiyan on them. And they were like, all right, we give up. Just, come on, just end the game. And then they're like, all right, well, we got to blame it on something. We're going to blame it on your Pumas. Because the fact I was... And after that game, I lit those Pumas on fire. And I chugged a Capri Sun. And then I spit it out, like, into the crowd. Kind of like how LeBron James, like, did his, like... He blew the chalk on the cloud. On the cloud. He, well, it looks like a cloud, but he blew it out on the audience. And like, all right, this guy means business. So every time I would get like a 20-goal game, I would just take a sip off a Capri Sun, and I would just spit it out of my mouth till it looked like mist onto the audience. And they're like, all right, this guy's the GOAT. Maybe we need to not regulate his cleats. And I was like, damn right you won't. And I went on to, you know, we got the championship, and the rest is history. Look it up on Wikipedia. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I talk about it so much everywhere I go. Everyone's like, you know, recognizes me. And it's kind of like getting old, like the paparazzi and everything. So. And this is the Mars PGA, whatever you want to call it. They're still working on the abbreviation for it, but you're playing golf on Mars. It's an infinite sand trap. They do lay down the artificial grass, but if you think about it, you're playing on Mars, you're like, oh, fuck. It's not going to be easy, because you're playing in, you know, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not even going to lie to you, bro. I lost what the conversation was about like 15 seconds ago, so can we like restart a new one?
Yeah, let's restart a new one.
All right, cool.
Did you watch the Packers Eagles game tonight?
Actually, no, I did not.
Man, that was a good game. Honestly, it was a good game. And you know, Aaron Rodgers, he went out injured, and Jordan Love came in and he picked it up like a boss. I thought he was playing really well. And they've been playing this narrative for a while, like Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded, Aaron Rodgers is done with Green Bay. This might be the moment where he's finally done.
And bro, I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm so glad I didn't watch that game, because I would have bet on Aaron Rodgers, and him going out would have made me blow my fucking top. So.
Well, they made it interesting. The final score was 40-33, Eagles. It got close. I think a lot of people betting on that game, they got really excited about that one. I mean, anyone who had money on Green Bay, they were like, come on.
Yeah, but I'm not even gonna lie, I was just fucking with the receivers, bro. Like, that was my whole thing. Watson and them, you know.
Oh, Christian Watson, yeah.
Lazard, like, I was gonna bet on those guys.
Yeah, well, Lazard didn't really do too much.
See? Where these to go?
I mean, I guess the universe wants us to match again.
Yeah, it was really good energy, man. Like, you can't fake those vibrations.
So, what did you think about Aaron Rodgers? You think he's done?
Well, yeah, looking at that, I really can't even lie, bro. It's kind of looking like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. This might be their last, their
Last
couple.
season.
Yeah, because, after you get to a certain, point, these guys that you're playing against, they was born in 2000. So while you were in the Super Bowl, they were in the womb. So you got to think about it like that.
Right.
These guys are built different than you.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why he has no chemistry with any of the players. Like Aaron Rodgers, he sits back in the pocket. I just feel like he gets frustrated because he doesn't have any chemistry with any of these younger guys. Maybe they're ushering the new, the younger generation era here.
And, I mean, we've seen it happen with basketball. So, so all the time happens with football. This isn't the same game where you just stand there in the pocket for 2-3 seconds. You got to either height and go or height and throw.
And there's no more huddling up for too long. It's just kind of like we already know we're on the same page. Let's just get them.
So many hybrid plays because, again, you got these kids. They play in the video game.
Right,
They play for the team. All they do is put Madden and put that playbook, and now they know the play. It's like it's so much easier for them.
Right.
And when you look at them, bro, these 6'5". Like these kids, I don't know what they feeding them, but this shit is different now. It's just so much different.
It's a lot different, and it's and look at some of the names. I mean, come on, Jalen Hurts. Is that not the perfect name for a football player? And he's like 230 pounds, and he's playing quarterback. He's like 6'1". I mean, how are you going to stop that guy if he runs it up the middle? And it's like, it reminded me of when the Packers they lost that playoff game back in the day against Michael Vick. There was nothing they could do against the run game. And, now they kind of adapted to it. They realized that we need to protect this, on the outside, not just go at him full on in the middle, and then he just scrambles out of the pocket. They're sending guys on the outside, so they did better tonight, but they're still, the Packers defense is not, it's a little bit too old school, I think.
Yeah, factual. I mean, I was telling people I'm a Browns fan. They said they feel sorry for me, and I'm just like, I don't know why. I mean, Jim Brown, the first Super Bowl. I mean, let's be completely honest. Let's not forget.
Right, and that's what I say to people that hate on me for being a Packer fan. It's like, well, the Lombardi Trophy is named after one of our legendary coaches. So,
True.
I mean, there's a reason. And, hate on Green Bay all you want, but they're still making, they're winning the division, quite a bit. And, now it's a new era, I get that. But the way Jordan Love was playing just against the best, because that's the best of the NFC, he was playing really well. I mean, it looks like their defense kind of just didn't, maybe they underestimated him, but he was making passes that were just, and it's Sunday Night Football, and, a lot of dramatic plays happen. I'm not saying it's all rigged, but it seems like on Sunday Night Football, they always give the underdog a shot, and it's like, we just want to see Jordan Love play a little bit more. Lombardi rules. Vince Lombardi.
26 lessons.
26 lessons.
Yeah, it's like a book, actually. As a kid, I got it. It was like a miniature book, and it's like 26 pages you go through. And, like, I feel like, just being able to, see shit like that, bro, it's like, wow, okay.
Yep. I mean, how do you feel about, like, what are your feelings about how all professional sports could be rigged, if there's enough money involved?
I think there is. I mean, if you think about it, at a certain point in time, geographics and, demographics and things like that play into it a lot. But, I do believe in, sports sports athletes and their abilities.
Right.
So
and
I do, see that people bank on them. That's it.
Yeah. And like, there's a reason for these teams changing cities. There's so much betting nowadays, even on just simple, things. And it's like, well, it could all be but either way, it's entertainment because it's owned by. What would you say, like, when you think of entertainment? What would be the biggest corporation to provide that in the course of history?
National Geographics.
What about Disney?
I like Disney. Disney is up there with like top 5.
What if I were to tell you that, Disney owns the NFL?
I would believe it.
Smart man.
Once you understand these companies, these corporations, and their subsidiaries, it's not really far-fetched. I mean, when you think about Taylor Swift being under Universal Music Group is the same Universal Studios that produce all these movies. I mean, it's like not too far-fetched to believe that it's like an umbrella.
Mm-hmm. And, these awards that they give these people.
These prestigious awards and events.
Taylor Swift, I mean, if you look at her music video that she won an award for, some would claim or make a claim that she was mentally ill.
Man, this ain't stuff you want to be showing your kids or you want them seeing and shit like that. My thing is this. They'll make another Halloween movie. They'll make movies on mass murderers and serial killers. But they won't make movies on abolitionists. They won't make movies on civil rights activists. They won't make movies on princes and queens and pharaoh. Like there's an agenda,
There's
like
definitely
when you look at it, and these companies are pushing genocide in certain communities, like literally paying people to tell people to go out and commit heinous acts. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep. These riots that happened back in 2020, there were people being paid to do these things. And, the cause and effect of such a chaotic event, the cause and effect that it has on a country,
If I could just further divided the country.
That was the goal. Well, it's divide and conquer.
It definitely was the goal, because if we sit here and we don't like each other because of what the media told you about where I'm from, or the media told me about what you're from, if we sat there and we believe that shit, we would be doing exactly what they want you to do, Be scared, be fearful, not be open-minded and accept it to, well, maybe you might farm. Maybe that's just what you do. Maybe I might be into technology. Maybe that's just what I do. So it's like sometimes people are scared of things that they don't know. But once you break those barriers, you start to know.
Yep. And it's about time that, people woke up from this stuff, because they've been controlling us for how long? I mean,
I'll say probably the last 30, 40, 50 years. Like, we can't lie and say that the civil rights movement didn't have people from all backgrounds. Polish, Swedish, African-American, Italian, Greek. Like, there were people fighting these fights from all different types of ethnicities. So once you had the media being able to construe a certain image for certain people, that's when, the brainwashing shit started, But, in due time, we can definitely break that back down. But it just takes time and knowledge.
And, you got to be careful nowadays because you might get canceled. But, thanks. It was real, man. All right, everybody. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening to this new project I'm doing. This is the pilot episode. If you feel any generosity in your heart and you enjoy what you're listening to, feel free to PayPal me a few bucks. My PayPal tag is at novelty. That's NOVELT at novelty. You get the play on words there. And if you look forward to new novelty in the future, I can't do this all on my own. I need a little bit better equipment. I know the production quality isn't the best, but if you donate, I guarantee you I can make this sound crispier than ever, baby. So let's get this party going. And anyone who wants to be on the show or anyone who has any ideas, send me an email to alexanderfilms3@gmail.com. Alright everybody, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.